Welcome, A Train, all aboard, tourism fans, to A Train, all aboard, tourism with Omnius Prime. Episode 12, Monterey Magical Mystery Tour, brought to you by Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's prime time for Professor Prime, and prime time to watch the wheel tour boat going by, and then here comes the one from Carmel. So I figured I'd start out up, and it's obviously May 31st, and I just paid my taxes of 210 billion, so I got 43 billion left. And I figured I'd start this episode out with a little tour down a few streets that I hadn't gone by before, and just kind of show you. Now, like, here's the Carmel race course. Now, since it's a public property, there's not much incentive for players to build it, because it's going to get donated to the city. So let's see if I can get that turning. Yeah. And now get that UI out of the way so I can have a nice cleaner view. I guess when I paid my taxes, it kind of popped it back on again. So here we're going through Turlock. And I figured I'd let the clock run a little bit so that we could watch some action going by as the trains are moving here and there. And here's a nice little rail area that I can go down. And now we're into Bell. And yeah, it's the city's kind of really growing. Now let's see if I can hit the street that I really want to right here. Sometimes it's good to use the UI to do the directions. And now it's come down a little bit. So I'm just, it's kind of fun now to just kind of see my handiwork. Here we go. Let's follow the rail line here, where it's kind of nice and wide through the big buildings. And Salinas is really growing. And there's the Tower 2 that I built in Salinas. And it sold fairly quickly. And as you can see on the right-hand side, I'm building plenty of these really tall buildings. Residential and commercial tall buildings. And let's see, I think maybe I'll turn right here and follow this rail path. Okay, let's see how my direction's going. Let's square up to the west. Kind of glad that I figured this backspace key to get rid of the UI trick, like for about my last video. So yeah, I mean, I just was very busy building stuff, and now here's the stadiums that I'm just waiting on building. And now I'm really slowing down on building stuff. Okay, let's just square up to the south. And then I can make it disappear again. So yeah, lots of little trains bouncing back and forth. I don't like the double tracking. I'm more of a single track kind of guy. With segments. I'd like to be able to start a train at a certain station and have it end at that same station. That way I know where my trains are. and that I'm not going to have any collisions. Once I have the timing down between the segments, then I don't have to worry about um, timing for the trains. So yeah, it's building up. I've got almost 670,000 in population. Of course, one of the problems is that as I build stuff, it kind of kills population, and then here we are back in this is, I guess, Bell Gardens. So let's go ahead, pop that, and get the camera out, and we can come back. Whoops. There we go. And look at the west. Now let's take a look at stuff. Um, I've got one building I can build, and now what I'm down to is selling apartment fours. I've got four of them for sale right now, um, kind of the low performing ones. And what I want to do is just replace them with science centers. So now I'm not worrying about selling buildings that don't make money. I just don't care, if they make money or not, especially if they're recreation buildings that have a lot of employees. So I'm just going through here. Now you can see I've got skyscraper apartment twos, some department store fives, office building sixes, high-rise building nines and sevens, high-rise building sixes. It's more high-rise apartment fours and twos. So I started building a lot of stuff, and then in this fiscal year, I built 7 science museums. What I needed to do is, whoops, let's come back here. I now have 19,826 employees, so I gained 1,990. And I now have 18,178 as far as staff positions required, under 1,700 short. So I figure if I can build about another 5 science museums, that'll bring it another 1,000 staff in, jobs, and then I won't be so far away on staffing. Now, as far as new plans go, right now my workload is perfectly balanced. My employee satisfaction is overflowing with energy. I am not going to do a public offering this year, even though I could pick up 221 billion in capital. 'Cause I'm not going to do a whole bunch of stuff as far as selling stuff. Now here, bonuses. Oh, that's an interesting concept. I only have bonuses this time. So when I built the, okay, I just learned something new. When I built the, started the research projects on the company retreat and employee benefits, I started them where they finished basically in this fiscal year. So I definitely started them too late, and I should have finished them up just before the last fiscal year ended, so they'd be available again for this fiscal year. So that's something else I've learned is that, man, and if you're negative on the staff required, you have a lot more staff than jobs, man. It can be tough, chasing it, especially when you have so many buildings as I do now, and then you have to wait for buildings to free up that you can actually build. So I'm gonna just, like I said, look for a few more subsidies that I can have fun with using, and build about 5 more science museums, and then I can just let Croc run. Oh yeah, and trade. Boy, I'll tell you, as now the economy recovers, the prices for the resources that we can sell have really gone up. So the price differential is tough because now you get old offers from at an older price that was lower, and sometimes the offers are below your cost, so you got to be so careful not to choose something where you're going to lose money. But there's not much profit margin right now on the resource trade. But that's not to worry. I'm going to have plenty. So I've got 10 billion in subsidies that are still unpaid, and I made 5.5 billion that was paid in April, where I made some built some buildings and got some money. And need that, one more profitable year, and I'm already there. I've already got 27 billion in profit on fixed asset sales. Um, so now it's just a matter of, and man, look at that! I've almost made up my operating loss. So yeah, I'm just going to be cruising it to the finish line and just running a lot of clocking and kind of getting finished and stuff. I've kind of reached a stage of burnout. And then what I want to do is kind of after I get through the completion stage, I'm probably going to want to talk about how I would play things differently, how I would have, one of my design decisions that I regret now because, I didn't find out until it was kind of too late that ski resorts are overpowered and stuff. But I'll be back in a bit, and we'll see how I'm progressing. Back again, it's July 1st at 8 a.m., and it's almost time to play the dividend game. So let's just go ahead, take a quick look at things. And my resources, somehow I'm still trading everywhere. But it's been very tough as far as making sure that I'm making some profits. Okay, the price differential as these resource prices costs keep going up. Some of the contract prices just don't match up, and so trade has not been much of a moneymaker. I have 180 buildings now, and not one of them is for sale. I have stopped selling buildings. I have stopped building buildings. It was just, man, now it's a sprint to the finish line. And I don't care that this Kabuki Theater is losing money and is performing poorly at 50%. At least this one's doing a little better. But these are tough. But they employ 340 employees, and as you can see, it's kind of way out here in the boondocks. So that's probably a good reason why it's losing money. But I don't care. I just wanted to build something that would employ employees. And here, this skyscraper 4 apartment is not doing so well. Right here, I guess that's it right there. Near to the Monument 3 and stuff here. Got a Kabuki Theater next to it. Now I got some high-rise building 9s and 7s that need to finish up. Some high-rise building 6s, high-rise apartments 4, some department stores, and now a whole bunch of science museums. And the last one will finish up on January 7th of Heisei year 23, which I think is going to be, 2011. In my plans, let's take a look. I now have staff required of 19,642, number of employees 19,826. And now only the bonuses is still showing up. But I'm overflowing with energy. My employee count is now basically matching up. So there's, I really won't need to do much as far as employee perks go, and it's the final year. Let's just take a quick look here. I've got 11 billion in bonuses to pick up, and now I'm just not going to bother with playing the subsidy game anymore. I made quite a bit. My tourists, it looks like all of my tourist routes are kind of under control. They're not being over capacity and stuff. So my tourism looks really good. And industry statistics, somewhere I don't think I've been before. One thing I'm noticing is look at that 4.34 trillion in commercial. And I'm not too sure. I only have like 274 billion in recreation. I'm kind of wondering if that should have been up higher. My transportation, I did pretty good, 387 billion. So, I'm trying to pump up the economy and employ almost 20,000 residents, and then the residential of 362 billion. So things are just humming along. Now, let's just come back here. Oh, yeah, let's take a quick look here at the income statement. So, as you can see, I'm already making money. Wow, we got 50.859 billion in depreciation up here. That's a big one. The subsidy revenue, 36 billion, is low for the last couple of years, but I don't care. My profit on fixed asset sales is 30 billion, and my extraordinary loss is less than $1 billion. So, definitely going to make a profit this year. So now it's just a matter of letting things run, and I'm still miffed that I cannot upgrade to Station Building 3 yet. That's just annoying, because I would like to upgrade some of my busiest stations, like Fort Ord Central and the Dodgers and Lakers, to the Station Building 3, which would employ some more employees and stuff. So let's just go ahead and run the clock. So now, since this is the last year, it's going to cost me 20 billion to do the dividends. I'm just not going to bother to raise the dividend up any. So I'm just going to go boom and be real nice and simple. I'm not going to do a public offering. I don't need a couple $100 billion. Like I said, right now, it's a sprint to the finish line now. But as you can see, everything's going real good. So now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to come back and in the winter time and kind of go through and do a look around town during the winter time, and then see the progress that's being made over here. See, that's going to happen in... Oh, okay, that's going to come real quick. Both of these are going to come real quick. And then they'll be finished up in like 2 weeks. So by the time I do the winter tour, they'll be finished. It's December 28th at 8 a.m. in the morning, and I decided I wanted to do a kind of a little tour during the winter time. Let's see what the winter wonderland looks like. Now, in Monterey County, we never see snow. I think when I was a kid, I once saw snow falling on the ground back maybe in the late 50s. But the only time we see snow, it's up on the hills around Salinas. So as you can see, it's kind of looking white here. And we're coming up now on Seaside. Let's just see about making a turnaround here. It's always easier to just turn on the UI so that I know that I square up to the directions correctly. I could also set the timer running, and now let's make that disappear again. There we go. Now I can run down past Salinas to the station here. Lots of tall buildings. A lot of this land was basically either farmland or empty. And I did end up from the last time building 2 apartment 4s. I got rid of that Kabuki theater, and I got rid of a really, really poorly performing and let's just kind of go right down this way. Whoops. Let's go ahead and center up again. Whoops. I am terrible at manual dexterity. Okay. Let's get that held down long enough. And here's the center track. Oh, wow. So yeah, it just, I've been building this now for almost 10 years. Let's just turn that off. Let's get squared up in the direction correctly and then figure out which, let's see, let's come over here just past that race course. I think that's what I'll do. And get back to north and hide the UI. So yeah, I'm glad that I built the race course. It was the first time I'd ever seen that in a scenario that I can remember. Coming up on Carmel here, the concrete jungle. And then back to Monterey. And if we kind of hurry up and go flying right over that. And we'll come back here. And now let's just back up a little. So this used to be just nothing but nothing. Until I basically then went to town and built the Stadium 1. Then I decided to go for it all and go and build the Stadium 2 and 3, just to see what it would do with the top 4. And as you can see, lots of tracks, lots of platforms. And now let's go back here. Let's get back to the regular camera. And as you can see, stuff is just whizzing along here. Let's give it a little more speed. Now, let's take a quick look here. Wow, the agriculture is just really bad because of the prices are rising. And so really, like San Francisco, that's a good one at $3,990,000. That's above the price, but I'm shipping fish to San Francisco, and I am getting some materials going. So for right now, I'm just not moving much in the way of agriculture. Let's see, Long Beach, $3,060,000, no restriction, but the cost is $3,280,000. So as you can see that in a time of where the economy is improving and the cost of resources is increasing, it can be very tough to do trade deals. That's why I didn't want to rely too much on trade overall for making money. Why I really wanted to jack up the trains and stuff. And I do have 180 subsidiaries, and most all of them are making money. There's probably some new ones where, if I get down here, see, like these two skyscrapers are actually poorly performing, but look, they're actually making money. But look at that, man, 2.7 billion, 2.5057 billion, 5 billion. Boy, I mean, now I'm just cranking out some real subsidiary income. High-rise building 7, where's that located? Oh, right there. Hmm. But here in Fort Ord, the central area. But I just decided, right now I don't care. I don't want to sell these things. I just want to move on. And then a couple of apartment 4s that I built trying to boost um, ridership in the train stations. Now, once again, what I've noticed is that I still can't use Station Building 3 in the remodel, even though I can construct with it, which is really frustrating. But I imagine in a few years or so, then it'll show up in the remodel list. But right now, I'm just moving along. What I have now is I have 19,228 in staff required, a little over almost 600 more in number of employees. I'll lose a little over 400 at the end of the year, so I'll still have a few employees over. Uh, I decided to pass on the public offering, although the price per share is going down, and so is how much I could get. I just don't need to do it. In a while, I'll just go ahead and burn the 47 billion to do the overflowing to do the employee morale. Although there were the company retreat and the employee benefits I didn't pass. So I'm getting close to the end, and then I'll be able to complete that last victory condition. So I'll probably be back like right around the end of March to kind of wrap up the final victory condition, and then I'll probably do a little bit of a post-mortem on the scenario design and some of the things that I probably would have done differently if I played this scenario again. Here it is. It's March 31st, 8:50 a.m. of Heisei year 23, the final fiscal year. And as you can see, I'm looking at the newly built Monterey Bay Warriors. And, I don't know why he's not doing the name, but Monterey Bay Galaxy. So it's somehow not showing the name like it does here. Probably because that happens to be one of the top 4 tourist attractions now. What happened was is the Stadium 2 replaced the Stadium 3 that was in Monterey, the Monterey Bay Union one. Okay, so Stadium 2, then your Monument 3, then your race course. So I figured that it would change a little bit. Now, this year we've got 4,134,000 tourists, so a little more than the year before. Let's take a quick look here. I have new subsidies coming in April 15th. I didn't play March Madness. It's probably why I have 658 billion sitting cash on hand. Okay, and let's take a quick look here. So we're looking at the economy level. I got recreation up to 343 billion, and I'm kind of wondering if I needed to bring it up more. It's really kind of tough trying to figure out the balance between population and the various businesses. And let's get to, okay, 716,000. Economy level at 5.587 trillion, which is pretty good. Still only got the same four-star tourist appeal that I had, uh, when in 10 years ago when the scenario starts. So, despite building some stuff, I haven't quite been able to overcome things. So let's come over here. You can see there's lots of busy tourists and stuff. Now, what I have to do is, of course, before I go anywhere, got to pay back the bank. So I think what I'm going to do this time around is just go 700 billion. There we go. Oh yeah. Let's just real quick take a look at the income statement. Makoto's all happy. 284 billion owed in taxes. But look at those earnings before taxes, 730, almost 731. Oh, and yeah, let's come back here again real quick. And bye-bye, Makoto. You can notice, look at the income jump between the years. I mean, wow. So this year was basically the year of the subsidiary sales. Let's bounce back one. So you see 330 to 214. And here I am at 750 to 464. So there was a big quantum leap in my subsidiary sales profitability, which was really nice. So now I'm going to go ahead and let's pay off the, whoops, let's go to the bank and pay off the loan. 71 billion in interest paid. And what that's going to do is drop our tax expense down to 255 billion, almost 256 billion. So about a little over 28 billion in tax savings. And you can see the interest paid of 71 billion there. Only 47 billion in subsidy revenue this year. Otherwise, if I'd have been banging out another couple of hundred billion in subsidy revenues and profit and fixed asset sales, yeah, I would have went way past the 2 trillion mark on income. So let's just go. Oh yeah, let's take a look at trade. Okay. I'm now currently just running in the north and seaside. I'm just running trade locally, so I'm just selling locally at the 3,530,000. I don't have to worry about contracts expiring and stuff. As the economy is recovering, see, like here overseas, an offer to sell I could sell for 2,580,000. Cost is 3,100,000. So yeah, there is a lot of like upside down trades as far as agriculture goes, and even maritime products and stuff. Sometimes the materials tended to be pretty okay, and so as you can see, I'm kind of close. I really got to whittle down the agriculture produce number. Got a lot of. And I'm willing to bet that, no, I've got it on. Huh, kind of strange. Oh, unless I had it building up for a while or something. That doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and run some clock here. And then clean the screen. And just kind of get a little bit of viewing the action here. just go ahead and slow it down here. Right when it comes to the start. So here we go. We're finishing up the scenario finally. And ta-da! So Makoto's happy. We made some good profits for the year. Ayaka's happy because we did the surplus 10 consecutive years in a row. And now she's happy that we have completed all the completion conditions achieved. So, as you can see, the game can be won, the scenario can be won, and all the completion conditions cleared on the expert level. And now, what I'm going to do is not bore you to tears with all of this victory stuff going on. So what I'm going to do is come back, after this and talk a little bit about my scenario design, a little bit about what I could have done better and things like that. A little bit about, now that I played through the scenario, things that I could have done better. So I'll be back for a little bit of a post-mortem for this segment that I would jump back into my final scenario development file so that I could look at the ski resort again, the one with all of the different additions that go to the ski resort. This was one of the first things that I developed. And little did I know how overpowered the ski resort was, that it would jump into the top 4. And then, and for 5-6 weeks a year, when it's snow on the ground, is the only time that it really operates. Then the rest of the year, it's basically worthless. If I'd have known that before when I started, I never would have done the ski resort. If I ever did another scenario design, I would never incorporate the ski resort. It was just, this was one of the worst design decisions that Art Dink made as far as ranking tourist attractions. The ski resort shouldn't have been more than a 1 or 2 star at most, and it's kind of like a 3-star. So what I would have, by the time I kind of figured it out that it was kind of a waste, I just didn't feel like changing it. But what I should have done was put in a big water area here instead, and put in 2 fisheries, and be able to sell fish to Long Beach and Los Gatos right out of here. So that was my biggest design decision. And by the time that I realized it when I was in early beta testing, I just didn't feel like switching it around or trying to, put in an ocean. I really didn't think of the ocean thing until later on when I was actually playing the game for the scenario for the series. Now, let's come over here. Now, there's a YouTuber named from Japan named 0 Hour A21C. And he's doing a series of cute videos using anime characters. So now he does it in Japanese, but there is a closed caption translation available. Although one character, he says that it has kind of an accent that doesn't translate well, and that is the case. But his comment was that the buildings were too close together, and you know what? He really kind of does have a point. But this was an initial scenario design. I wanted to kind of create a concrete jungle and stuff. But one of the things that I can say, a couple of the things, was that my station spacing. Let's come over here real quick. this will be a great way to show it. So what I did was I looked at placing stations here, skip two, and then, so every third. What I should have done was every other one. So a station here, a station there. Because the coverage is about 12 or 13, so a station here will cover out to about here. You see, and a station there covers out to here. So I've got no coverage in this area. And that's probably where I should be putting buses in and stuff. But if I were to do it over again, I would do every other spot so that I got better coverage. The other thing would be is that in the cities here, I didn't, I just didn't think about subways. But what I really could see was that I could have run a subway route under the train here, under this road here, and if I would have left 3 spaces blank, okay, not built upon, then I could have placed an underground train station. So what I just kind of I was so focused on everything else that I kind of just didn't get into doing the underground station thing. And that was one of my regrets, is that, yeah, I probably should have planned out better for doing underground for this big city section in here where there's really not enough train coverage. So I kind of really made a few mistakes. This was my first scenario design. There was nothing that really tells us how to design a scenario. So it was all kind of just hit and miss. I built this area over here so I could transfer materials from Bell down here. Okay, this would be where the materials come up to here, and then use trucks to move them over here and here to expedite building the bullet train and the airport. Chances are is that I could probably build a material factory, one like right here, and obviously Junji doesn't like this idea, and I'm not worried about making money. It would be just to put a little material factory in here, put in a storage yard right there, and then have a little bit of materials to expedite the airport. Same thing, put in a material storage here with a little factory, and then try to expedite building the bullet train. So that would be in like playing where I kind of figured out that I didn't like it. The other thing that A21C, he loves the double track. And I was kind of like, one thing I don't like about double track is the way the trains run. Because when you double track, what you end up having is when you do the oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so right here, I see I can set up a departure time, and then I can set up a wake-up time that's like 5-10 minutes earlier, so the train has enough time to load passengers. When you have like just a departure time, you don't do the loops, okay? Then what happens is that you really don't have good control. You just do start and stop times. Train starts early in the morning, and you have basically picks up no passengers on the first stop. And then on the last stop, you can't always tell where it's going to end up. And I've had situations like in a closed loop where I've had trains stacked up one behind the other behind one train in a station, and then you might have a train or two that are stacked up behind it, not able to get into the station because it's after hours. and of course then they can't unload passengers and stuff. So that was the one thing, and that's why I hated streetcars in PC Classic. So, so yeah, I had a few things where I think I could have done better, but I think for a first effort, I think I did well. Um, and I hope that you all will enjoy the series and try this scenario out for yourselves. I'm going to come back in just for one last segment and kind of get back into the finished product and just kind of cruise around and take one last look at how I finished off the scenario and did after the completion conditions were done. Okay, now to wrap this up, one of the things that I did not like about the way the artificial ignorance developed the city uh, is like, see here, I put in this highway here, okay? But you can see that in the development, the program placed a highway right next to them. Now, this big building that I built here, I had to demolish highway along there. There was actually this highway went inside the big loop that I had created. I was I saw that when I was creating the scenario that I could I guess stop open development. But when I was went to look at playing the game and see if I could get that same situation of being able to stop open development. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's a game option. You can see here how it built road here right next to that. There were a lot of places. I mean, like right here. You know, what's the use of this road here, right? When it's right next to that. So, the program had a lot to be desired as far as the road building went, which is why I kind of, really went to town on trying to build up a decent road network ahead of time because it's very expensive to build like these highways, which I think of as avenues, and and it's a donation to the city, so it's an expense. So you got to be careful. You can't just go willy-nilly building all kinds of stuff. I mean, I did, like from, I think it was like about right here, or no, I think it was from here to here. I had to build a road and a highway. Yeah. So, whoops, got to touch that little corner again. So I did build some roads. Where was the other one that I built? Like right here. I took some like the existing, it was building some streets here, but I had to delete some of the stuff, demolish it, so that I could fit buildings in. But then I kind of just built roads to make the connections logical for the venues that I was building. Now, what I want to do is let's just go ahead, take a quick look at my, come on, go away, Izumi. So I ended up at 716,855, 5.589 trillion in the economy level. I was doing pretty good with tourists, about 4 million a year. And now what'll happen is I'll get a little bit of the Stadium 2 and the old Stadium 2 and then this old Monument 1 will bounce back and forth. The Monterey Bay Warriors is not quite as popular, but it replaced the soccer stadium, and then the race course stayed down below. And I'm not too sure, I'm not too sure if the ski course would have superseded the Monument 3 that I made right here that that was a 3-star, and it stays in the top 4 normally. But I noticed that now the beta test that I did, that the ski course, even when I deleted, demolished it, and then rebuilt just the ski course without any additions, just the plain ski course would overtake the Monument 3. And it was just, I didn't want that. So, in parting, what I want to do is let's just go ahead, whoops, let's go ahead and go, let's find something like a train. Now I can come back here and I can go to the bullet train and the train. Let's do that. Now I've got it cooking with gas. Turn that on. And now get a nice clean view of the bullet train ride, which is kind of cool. So it looks like it's going to be coming up here. There's the other bullet train, so let me just do this and then come down here, and now I switch to the other bullet train, and now we can go back down the other way. So yeah, I hope that people have fun with this scenario, and that you'll check out the videos by YouTuber 0 Hour A21C, and just check out how he's developing. I noticed that he's going to try double tracking and doing different things. So for me, it's really cool to be watching 0 Hour A21C's videos to see how he's doing things. And then let's just do that, and back to the bullet train, and whoops, back to the full view. So I hope that you've enjoyed this series, and that you'll try out my scenario, and maybe you'll be doing some videos of the scenario yourself, and if so, you can always pop a message up on the workshop messages for a link to a video series. So, thank you for watching, and I hope y'all have a great day.